Morning students, welcome to the 9th standard. Now, as a part of the online classes, today we start a new topic of science, that is chapter number 1, properties of matter. I hope all of you have online textbook as a part of the PDF. You can also see the chapters as a part of the PDF in the textbook. Now, first of all, that matters, properties of matter. Before starting this chapter, properties of matter, first of all, we have to understand what is called matter. If you've seen around of us, lots of things like tree as well as buildings, motor cars, some of the invisible objects. So, these all are the objects we can be seen around of us. So, how can we classify all these type of objects are called matter? How can you justify that is object as called as a matter? So, as a simple definition of matter, anything which have a specific some mass and volume and which occupies some space, that is called as a matter. Like for example, I have a duster in my hand. So, it have a specific shape. Okay. When I put on this desk, it occupies space. And also, if you weight, if have some of the mass. So, any object like this is a chalk. Chalk has a specific shape. It have a specific mass when you apply that, and when you put on a specific place, it occupies the space. So, any object in the universe around of us, if had a specific shape, size and having a specific mass and occupies the space, then it is called as a matter. That is a simple definition of matter. Anything of the object which have a specific shape and size, have a specific mass and occupies the space, that is called as a matter. That is called matter. That is a simple definition of matter. Now, matter that can be classified on the two types, on the basis of their physical properties as well as on the basis of their chemical properties, right? So, matter having a specific shape and size, having a specific mass and occupies the space. So, it is called as a matter. Matter that can be classified into the two forms, one is called on the basis of physical properties, another is called on the basis of chemical properties. Now, when we classified the matter as a part of their physical property, it should be converted into the three main terms which is called solid, liquid and gas, right? So, if you classified the matter on the physical properties, it should be classified in solid, liquid and gas. As well as when you classified the matter according to their chemical properties. Chemical properties just be consider their molecules as a part of the reactants and the part of the products. So, when it should be classified according to the chemical properties, it have a mixture, compound and element. Okay. So, matter that can be classified into the two ways, according to their physical property, according to their chemical properties. Physical property having the three terms, solid state, liquid state and gaseous state, where the chemical properties that contain element, compound and mixture, right? So, that is about the matter. Now, we are discussing about what is called properties of matter. Generally, you know that there is a solid state, liquid state, gaseous state as well as element, compound, mixture. But how we can be justified their properties? Now, what are the major properties of the matter? So, matter that can be classified into the four properties. There is a four properties of matter. First, the particles of matter having a space between them. If you see the particles, okay, whatever, like see that it's a chalk. Chalk having a specific molecules in it, like a formation of calcium and some others. So, it have a space between them. So, first of all, first properties of matter, all the particles of a form of matter having a space between them. There is a specific space which is available into each and every form of matter. That is first property. So, the particles of matter having a space between them, that is the first physical properties. Now, second physical property is that particles of matter always been a continuously moving process, like having a kinetic energy terms. Like kinetic energy, it means what? Always be having in a continuously moving form. So, similarly, properties of matter having always been a continuously moving form, that is called as a second property. Third property, the particles of matter are rapidly goes into the diffusion process. Well, you see the properties of matter always be, you see that the properties of particles always be having a diffusion form And fourth and most important form of properties of matter, that particles of matter attract each other. So these are the four properties of matter. I'll just revise once again which are the properties of matter. There are four properties of matter. First, the particles of matter having space between them. The particles of matter always be in a form of continuously moving form. The particles of matter are always be going into the diffusion process, and particles of matter always be attract to each other. These are the four properties of matter. Clear? First, I told you what is matter. The specific shape and volume and occupies the space, that is called matter. There is a two form: physical properties, chemical property. Physical property, solid, liquid, gas. Chemical properties, element, compound and mixture. Now, four properties of matter: having a space between them, always be in a continuous moving form, always be going to the diffusion process and attract to each other. So these are the generally properties of matter. Now, next we are discussing about the plasma state. What is called plasma? First of all, we generally listen that word every in a scenario, that plasma. We see the TV of plasma TV. We have a plasma TV. So what do you mean by the plasma? Now, plasma is what? It is one of the 5 state of matter. Plasma is one of the 5 state of matter, like solid, liquid, gas, as well as element, compound, mixture. Like that, plasma is also a state of matter. So plasma is one of the 5th state of matter. It having a super hot and excited form of gases. Plasma is what? It is super hot and super excited gases which contain in the form of plasma. So it is like a similar form of gas. Plasma is what? It is a part of gas, but super hot excited gas. It is a form of super hot and excited gases. So when this type of gas is providing to heat, when you provide the heat to this type of gases, the gas is start to be heated. Okay, when you provide to heat of any object, it should be converted as a part of heat, that should be converted in a part of the heated. So when a heat is provided to the gas is part of the heated, and that implemently gas is get ionized. When you start to be heat to the gas, it should be converted into the ionized form, because what? Gas is what? It is a part of the mixtures of more than one gases. So when you provide the heat, the molecules of the gases that should be ionized and acquires the electrical charge. When you provide the heat, it should be ionized, and when the ions are ionized, it generally acquires the electrical charge and converted into the plasma state. That is generally a plasma state. Once again I repeat what is called plasma state. Plasma is one of the 5th state of matter, generally contains super hot and super excited form of gases. It is generally similar like to the gas, but it should be a super hot and excited gases where the particles are ionized. In the plasma state, the particles of matter get ionized. How it should be ionized? When you provide the heat to the gas start to be heated, and the ions which is available into that formation of gas, that should be converted into the ionized, that should be start to be ionized and convert as a part of acquire electrical charge and convert into the plasma state. So when any gas is in a part of the heated which converted as a part of the ionized and getting the electrical charge and converted into the plasma state. So that is generally part of the plasma state. Now how we can be seen like stars. Stars having sun as well as neon bulb, fluorescent bulbs, this all having a plasma gases. So when we discussing about these terms, plasma formation, like stars having a helium gas, we already know okay, stars having the helium gas. So that helium gas is generally which having under a high temperature, that gases which is a part of the helium, when you provide the heat, it start to be as a part of the heated and converted as a part of helium gas and converted into the form of some gases. So stars which contain this type of helium gas, and when you provide the heat, it converted into that formation of electrical charges and convert as a part of the plasma state which occupies the sun and stars. So that is called as the generally form as a plasma state. Like sun, stars, these are generally a substance which is a part of the plasma state which having a super hot excited gases. So like neon, fluorescent tube as well as like sun and star, these all are the substance which generally contain the plasma state which having a specific formation of super hot gases, excited gases. Now how we can be consider the what is the color of plasma? How we can be generally we seen that depend on to the gas, which type of gas we are using, according to that the color of plasma that can be changed, like neon bulb having a different color, fluorescent tube having a different color. So which type of gas which should be used, according to that plasma state of color that can be changed. So generally we know that color of plasma depend on to the type of gas. For example, like neon gas. Neon gas generally converted into the form of bricks red color. So which type of gas you just use as a part of the plasma that is converted into the form of color. So neon gas is generally a part of the bricks which converted into the red color, as well as like we see that helium gas. Helium gas that should be converted into the form of red to the violet color. So depend on to the gas, which type of gas. If you are using neon gas, if you are using the helium gas, according to the color of that should be changed. Neon generally gives the red color, helium generally gives as the violet color. So these are generally called as the plasma state. After the plasma state, there is also one state that is called BEC, that is called as a Bose-Einstein State method. Bose-Einstein condition state. This is called as a plasma state. BEC matlab BOSE, Bose-Einstein condition state. Now, plasma is a super hot excited gas. Opposite of BEC, that it is a very formation of the very cool temperature having converted into the BEC state, that is called Bose-Einstein condition state. Now, Bose-Einstein condension state generally also a fifth state of matter in form of year of 1920. In 1920, when we see that on the basis of the properties of work, the Albert Einstein, he observed that there is also state of matter. This is called BEC in 1920. Okay. So in 1920, according to the work of properties, a specific work done by the Albert Einstein, he predicted that there is also a specific state of matter that is called BEC, that is called Bose-Einstein condension state. Now, what do you mean by the Bose-Einstein condension state? Like plasma is what? Super hot excited gas. So when the density of air that is extremely low temperature, when the normal temperature of air that should be converted into the extremely very low temperature, very down, like 100 or 1000 times that can be down onto the density of air, it should be comes into the super cool, very cool temperature, that is mainly known as a BEC, Bose-Einstein condension state. So when the temperature of gas that should be converted into the very extremely down temperature, like 100 or 1000 times it should be converted very down, it converted into the super formation of cool temperature, that is called BEC. While the plasma is what? When you provide the heat, it converted as a part of the ionized, and ionized that can be contain the electrical charge and converted into the plasma. So plasma state when gas is provided to the heat, and the Bose-Einstein condition when the air that get the low temperature, that having a plasma state, and BEC state that you have to study it into the higher standard when you go into the 11th science. But in this chapter we have generally discussing about the three terms of the physical properties of matter, that is called solid, liquid and gas. So generally we discussing about matter having the three physical properties, that is called solid state, liquid state and gaseous state. Now we discussing about little about the solid, liquid, gas, and another topic when discussing about into detail how this type of force attracted into the solid. Now first we start of the solid. What do you mean by solid? Now if you see that it's like a duster, it's a part of solid. This is a dash, it's like a solid. It should be a part of the blackboard, it is also a part of solid. You see the walls around of your homes, that is also a part of solid. You also see the sum of the object. But how you can be justified that object is solid? What are the physical properties and what are the criteria? According to that, we converted the object in a form of solid. Now what are the general rules for the solid? First of all, there is a main important form of to identify the solid, it having a specific shape and volume. If you see the object, if have a specific shape like chalk, duster, pen, pencil, rubber, sharpener, televisions, walls, etc. If you see in the objects, if the object having a specific shape and if have a volume, then it is always be considered in a form of solid object. Okay. So if the object have a specific shape and volume, it always becomes into the form of solid. Then it should be a part of the solid. Now, if you provide the external force, there is no any external force that should be applied onto the solid object. There is no any pressure on the external force that can be adapted onto the solid form. If you try to compress the solid object, like see that It's like a duster. When I want to compress it, it cannot be compressed. It have a fixed shape and volume. Okay. I provide the external force, there is no any change of shape and size. Okay. When we provide the force, it cannot be change its shape and size. It cannot be compressed. So these are the generally. Okay. Now later on, if I'll provide the more force, on this type of the solid object, it should be break. It should be break down into the smaller particles. Like you see the bricks. When you provide the force, the bricks cannot be changed its shape and size. Okay, it cannot be compressed. But you provide the more force on a bricks, it should be break into the smaller particles. So these are the generally forms of solid. As well as solid cannot be flow. If we see that solid cannot be moving from one place to another place, it cannot be flow. So it having a definite properties, according to that we can be converted the matter in a form of solid. So solid having a very rigid and stronger substances. If you want to change the shape, it is very difficult. It's a very rigid and strong substance. So these are the generally form of solid. There is a attraction force in solid is generally we can see that attraction force is formation of very high into the formation of solid object. So these are the generally properties of solid. Once again I revise what are the form of solid. Solid having a specific shape and size, if have a specific volume, as we can see that there is no any effect of external pressure, it cannot be compressed, it cannot be flowed, it should be broken when you apply the force, very rigid and stronger substance and difficult to change the shape. That is about the solid. Next we are moving about the liquid state. Now liquid state is what? Liquid having a no specific shape but it having a volume. Like solid having a specific shape and volume, but in a liquid there is no any specific shape. You can be change the shape according to which type of vessel you use. Like you are using the glass, you are using the bottle, you are using the cylinder, you are using like a pan. So it have a volume but it have no any space. It should be change the shape according to the vessel's internal force of the liquid is very less. There is no any pressure of force between the, because solid having a strong intermolecular force but liquid having a very less intermolecular force compared to the solid. There is no attraction force, diffusion of molecules is very low and easily that can be flow. Okay, if you are providing that can be easily flow. Fluidity that should be can easily flow and can't be compressed. Like a solid, liquid cannot be compressed. Now last one is called as a gaseous state. Now gas, generally we can be seen that the gaseous state having no any fixed shape and volume. Solid have fixed shape and volume, liquid doesn't have a shape but it have a volume, but in a gases there is no any fixed shape and volume. As well as liquid, gases also acquire the same space in which they can be poured. If you are poured into the cylindrical vessel, if you are poured into the under like a cuboidal vessel, whatever the vessels you can be poured the gas, it can be converted according to that shape. It can be easily compressed, like compress you can be used in the fill into the cylindrical tank. So gas that can be a very high temperature that can be easily compressed. Diffusion rate is very high, that can be moving from one flow to other flow, it can be easily flow. It can be easily fill into the cylindrical like CNG, LPG, these are the one of the form of gases. So this is generally part of the solid liquid gas. Like I'll see here characteristics. Now shape and volume of solid having a definite shape and having a volume, but liquid having a no space but having a volume. Gas is neither shape nor volume. Fluidity, like solid cannot be flow, liquid can easily flow, gas can also easily flow. Compressibility, gas cannot be compressed, solid cannot be compressed, as well as liquid cannot be compressed, but solid gas it can be easily compressed like a cylindrical vessel. Diffusion rate is very slowly, cannot be diffused from one place to another place very slowly. So in a liquid faster than solid, diffusion rate in a liquid is faster than solid, and the more diffusion rate is the higher diffusion rate that can be seen into the gaseous state, where the intermolecular force, the force between the solid object having a very strong, so that it should be very rigid. So intermolecular force into the solid is very high, but in a liquid having a less strong, where the gas is having the no force. So today for that only you have to discussing about the solid state, liquid state, gas state, what is called matter, what is called their physical properties, as well as plasma state and BEC state. Next time when we discussing about ahead on this chapter, we discussing about what is called intermolecular force and what is called the chemical properties of the matter. For today, that is only about this topic of solid, liquid and gas. Thank you.